All right, now in number 1, there are 12 flowers. 8 of them are roses. What fraction of the flowers are roses? Well, you can count 8 of them out of 12, 8/12. Now, if we put that in simplest form, we can see that there are 3 parts, and 2 of the parts are roses. So 2/3 is an equal fraction. Let me show you another way to do that. So if I have 8/12, what does that equal? Now you need to think about factors fitting in. What's the greatest common factor that 8 and 12 have? They both have 1, obviously. They both have 2, but I think there's a bigger number, 4. So if I divide 8 by 4, I get 2. Whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Those are equal. Now let's say you're not really good with fractions and you need to do it, you don't find the greatest number. Let's say you knew that they're both even numbers, so you divided that by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 12 divided by 2 is 6. I notice that there's still a common factor in there. I can pull out another 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. We came up with the same answer, but notice how it was shorter in the top one. If you can find the biggest number that goes into both, that will cut down on steps. Now I want you to look at these fractions, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want you to think about proper fractions, improper fractions, whole numbers, and mixed numbers. Which one of these is a proper fraction? Proper fraction is going to be 5/7. I can't reduce it anymore. The numerator is smaller than the denominator, so this is a proper fraction. 8/8, if you have 8 pieces and you eat all 8 pieces, that's a whole. So that's a whole number. 17/12, when the numerator is bigger than the denominator, this is an improper fraction because I can pull out a whole. And this one is called a mixed number. Mixed number because I have a whole number and a fraction. All right, I'm going to give you the explanation of how to change a mixed number into an improper fraction. So if I have 6 2/3, in a sense I have 6 wholes, and a whole in thirds would be 3. So 3 times 6 is 18/3. And then you have to add it to the fraction part, so 2/3. That's going to give me 20/3. That is the improper fraction for 6 2/3. Another way to do it, 6 2/3, is just to 3 times 6 plus 2 and keep the denominator. So 3 times 6 is 18, add 2, 20/3. Those are 2 ways to explain it, but you do the same thing. You multiply the denominator times the whole number and add the numerator. Now in the top fraction, in improper fraction, I have 15/5. What I'm going to do is divide the 5 into the 15. How many times does 5 go into 15? 3. So it's a whole number. 5, 10, 15, that's 3 wholes. On the bottom one, if I have 17 pieces out of 5, I can think of how many holes can I pull out? I can pull out 3 holes. That would be 15. Now I'm going to do 17 minus 15 equals 2. I still have 2 left over, and you always keep the denominator the same. So 17/5 is the same as 3 2/5. Now what I want you to do is attempt number 2 in tasks. Go to your tasks part of your notebook and put 2A, 2B, 2C, and 2D. What I want you to do is write each of the following fractions in simplest form. So you're going to find the greatest common factor for both the numerator and the denominator and divide by that. Pause this, try to complete A through D, and once you're done, come back and you will see the answers. All right, the greatest common factor for 8 and 12 is 4. So if I divide both by 4, I have 2/3. For B, the greatest common factor is 3. If I divide 9/12, do them both by 3, I'm going to get 3/4. 6/9 and 6/12. 6/9 and 6/12. What is the greatest number that goes into both? 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. What's the biggest number that is a factor for both? You should think 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So you have 1/2. Next in your tasks, I want you to attempt number 3 by writing greater than, less than, or equal in each of the circles. So write down 3A, B, C, D, E, and F. Pause the video and see if you can figure out which fraction is bigger, smaller, or are they equal. Hint, you're going to need to change the denominators to be the same or change the improper fractions to a mixed number. Good luck. All right, let's look at A. I'm going to change the thickness. So for A, I have 2 improper fractions. So I'm going to change them to mixed numbers. So if I have 3/2, 2 goes into 3 one time with 1 piece left over, 1 1/2. 5/4, 4 goes into 5 one time with 1 piece left over, 1/4. Which one is bigger, 1 1/2 or 1 1/4? It should be 1 1/2. Let's go on to B. 2 1/2 and 2 1/7. We have the same number of whole numbers so that we can cross those out. Now 1/2 and 1/7. Would I want to share a candy bar with one person or cut it into 2 and have 1 piece out of 2? Or would I want to share with 7 people? No, and only get 1 piece. 2 1/2 is going to be bigger. C, we don't have to do much more because 4 is bigger than 3. So 4 is bigger. Here we have a mixed number and an improper fraction. Let's turn the improper fraction to a mixed number. It's going to be 1 5/6 because 6 goes into 11 one time. There's 5 pieces left over. Made a mistake. Denominator always stays the same. 1 5/6. That's going to be equal. Again, let's change the 9/2, the improper fraction, to a mixed number. 2 goes into 9, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4 times with 1 piece left over, 4 1/2. Would I rather have 2/3 or 1/2? Well, let's quickly cut this into thirds. If I have 2/3, is that over a half? Yes. So I'm going to want, the bigger one is 4 2/3. And finally, 3 and 15/4. I'm going to change this to a mixed number. 4 goes into 15 3 times without going over. With 4, 8, 12, with 3 pieces left over, 3/4. Which one's bigger, 3 or 3 3/4? There you go. Finally, you are going to work on your homework. It is exercise 1 on page 46 through 49. That will be in the assignments. If you have any questions, email me or wait until you come to English.